This is Support is Sexy, episode 497, with Stephanie Johnson, founder of Single and the City. Welcome to Support is Sexy. I'm your host, Elayne Fluker, entrepreneur, author, and founder of Chic Rebellion Media. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, I bring you inspiring women entrepreneurs who share their wins and lessons to help you take your business to the next level. Here we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Support is Sexy. I'm happy to have you here. You know, it just would not be the same without you. And if you're a woman entrepreneur listening and you're looking for some support with building your brand, learning more about negotiating, learning about networking and making connections, and you want to be a part of a community of women who really support you, first of all, you know, that's what we're all about around here, right? What I want you to do, if that sounds like you and you really are looking to make some connections with women entrepreneurs who are there to support you, check out the Support is Sexy Mastermind. Just go to supportissexymastermind.com. Tons of information there to tell you what you get as a member of the mastermind. And most important, you get to be in a community of women who are there to support you. Now, today I am excited to share this episode with Stephanie Johnson. Stephanie is the founder of a company called Single and the City. It is a dating company, but so much more. And what I love is Stephanie has created a business that is about, I say, showing love to the whole person. So it's not just about dating and finding a partner. It's about betterment. It's about coaching. It's about personal development and so much more. And Stephanie also shares the not so lovely but learning moments of entrepreneurship, how you hit rock bottom sometimes and how you can bounce back. All right, so without further ado, Stephanie Johnson. So Stephanie, thank you so much for joining us for an episode of Support is Sexy. I'm excited to have you here.
Thank you, Elayne. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. So our first question, when did you first fall in love with entrepreneurship?
So I am an unconventional entrepreneur. My family is from Suriname, South America, and I've seen my entire family, become entrepreneurs, build something from nothing, not being from America. So I had no interest in being an entrepreneur until my layoff in 2015. I had worked really hard. I went to school. I, did the whole corporate thing. I just planned on being a corporate executive for someone else. And literally when my life just kind of spun into, here I am, going right back to my roots and entrepreneurship. So yeah, it's definitely grown on me, but this was not a goal that I had in life at all.
What kind of corporate position did you have?
I was HR for a restaurant group. I love the restaurant industry. So anything executive, higher up in the corporate office, I did all of that and I loved it.
Did you try to go back into the industry before you eventually moved over to entrepreneurship?
Absolutely. It was a really crazy time. I applied and I knew a lot of people, just nothing would open up for me. So this was kind of my last resort and luckily it worked. But yeah, I definitely reached out and desperately wanted to go back to work.
What year was it?
That was 2015 and 2016. Yeah.
Okay.
2018. So
okay. I thought maybe it was earlier.
2015. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I thought maybe it was early on. There was a period when the economy changed and everybody was getting laid off and people couldn't find anything, but yours was more recently.
Yeah, it was like the reverse. I was doing great back then. And then, my company, the small company I worked for, downsized. I was one that they didn't need two of me and I was out, took my severance check and, that's how life got real quick.
So tell us about the moment then that you said, okay, I'm going to start my own business.
Yeah, well, this again, just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe no one's hiring me. This is insane. I applied for like nanny positions, TV. I'm a hustler, so I'm applying everywhere. There's no shame in my game, and nothing was opening. So I went to a business mentoring center in my city in Frisco, Texas, and I was talking to these two older business mentors, and they were like, dude, you have a great business idea and plan. You're already doing it, for free. You need to learn to monetize this. And literally just blood, sweat, and tears is me having to surrender the fact that I don't want to charge people. I'm a girl. I'm just used to just, having
Right.
taken care, I'm used to taking care of people. I've never been the person to ask for anything. I'm always lending things to my friends. So for me to be on the back end there in my life and in my business and having to actually build a business and make it structured and, be the boss was like a mental shift for me that took me like a good 4 or 5 months, to be honest with you. And once I charged my first event, it got easier as I could, do more, and it was the higher value. And now now I feel great at doing what I do, but it definitely took like an identity, who are you? What are you worth? I used to post know your worth on Instagram, didn't really know what I was talking about until I had to realize my worth, and part of that was owning my weight in the industry that I'm in, which was actually paving the way for something that had never been done before, and then attaching a price tag to it and making it a profitable business. So it took some time, but we got there.
Yeah. And, a lot of people, thank you for sharing that. A lot of us go through that at different stages. Some still going through it. I mean, I just did an episode recently where I talked about pricing and that kind of thing and how much it's a struggle to, right? Figure out how much do I want to charge, and I don't want to charge too much, but I want a certain kind of client, and all these mental acrobatics we do to try to figure it out when there's an
Girl.
easier way, right? So going back a little bit, what would you say, or how would you describe yourself as a young person? Did you grow up here in the States, or you grew up in Suriname?
Yeah, no, I grew up in the States. I'm born and bred in Detroit, Michigan. I'm trying to say, growing up, okay, so I wanted to be a broadcast journalist my entire life. I went from being a veterinarian to a broadcast journalist. Born and bred, every expensive summer camp, Northwestern University, I was in everything, editor of newspaper in high school, won awards across like state of Michigan for writing, for speaking, and get to college. And I'm like, oh snap, I think I want to be a cultural anthropologist. So I tried that for like a year, and then I tagged on Jewish studies, and then I went to Israel. So I had this like your typical college, just literally trying to figure my life out moment. But I was always very organized. I always loved people and bringing people together and just helping. I don't want to say ministry because that makes it sound like I'm trying to be a pastor, but I like just putting people together and like seeing them thrive. And where I kind of got my, kind of started not feeling myself, but when I kind of knew my niche was the singleness. Like no one was really pouring into single people anywhere. You either have church or it's super like over the top most times, or it's super secular and they're giving you no good advice whatsoever. So that's I'm like in the middle ground.
Yeah, so bringing people together. You said you don't want to say ministry, but even though I love that, but it's your call. It was your calling.
Yeah.
Really, it's just natural.
Exactly. That's the word. My calling. Yes. So even when I'm married, I'm like, dude, single people will always be around. Someone always needs to give them the best case scenario, hope, how to just be your best self. So that's what I feel my job is for the world.
So tell us how you mentioned that when you went to the Entrepreneur Center in your city that you already kind of had this idea, or you were already doing this. So tell us a little bit about the concept of Single in the City, which is your company, and how it works.
Yeah, so we'll be 4 years old next month. Can't believe July, like it's going to be around the corner. We'll be 4 years old. I'm a Christian. I was at church, and I was helping my church do like new members class. And literally I was like, oh man, I wonder why there's no like singles, co-ed, non-Christian group, like besides meetup, because that's not really organized. Like, why is there nothing happening? And the idea came to me in church, and I was like, it must be from God. I don't know. So literally started a book club at a local coffee shop, had a couple meetings. People started literally meeting, getting married. Three couples got married within the first 2 years.
Wow.
And people were starting businesses.
Book club.
Yes, from the book club, from us going out. I mean, Saturday night salsa, going to the winery. I mean, we've had so many activities in the past 4 years. And the book club really brought people together because it was a time to like Monday nights, we come, pack out this place, dialogue, go through the book, co-ed. It was just great. So everything at first was just fun. Why would I charge for this? This was fantastic. But then I started adding these awesome resources like therapists and counselors and these things that you never really thought about. You're like, crap, there's more to being single than just going out and dancing on a Saturday night, and really enjoying my life. So as I've kind of progressed I'm 31 now, 32 in October. As I've progressed in my single journey and kind of knowing, going through self-awareness, self-actualization, realizing, yeah, I'm a nice person, but I have quite a bit of tweaking to do myself. And this is probably why I have not been able in the past to attract the type of man that I have been praying for. We pray for these like, oh my gosh, Idris Elba mixed with Jesus. Well, you're not even there yourself, like you can't even handle someone on that level intellectually. Like, what are you talking about? So once I was able to be real with myself and go through my own life coaching and just buckling down as a Christian and really just allowing God to kind of just purge me and like renew my mind, I was able to produce, like, I call it Singles in the City 2.0. So it's still Singles in the City, but we have pretty much not cut out, but just revised all the quote unquote fun activities. And every time we meet on every month in different cities, and it's complete purposeful. There's always a therapist there, and we have a certain topic that we talk about, and people are like set free, mind shift. People are finally attracting people that, and not even in romantic, but like you want friends on a different level. Well, maybe your communication sucks, but today you learn how to practice being a better, so life choices, but just in a different way, packaged differently. That's kind of what we do.
On your website, you make the distinction that you're not matchmakers or speed dating events or dating coaches and that kind of thing, that you're a wellness community, which you've talked about some, right? So why is it making this distinction important as far as communicating what Single in the City offers?
Yeah, well, I'm constantly, and because of the name of my company, which I think people are like, it's a great name, but you automatically associate dating, sex with it. So that's just something I have to eat. But I make the distinction because I want you to open your mind as to, I'm single, I'm having fun, but what else can I be doing besides taking trips and saving money? Like, what else? And there's so much internal work that no one ever touches on. And that's my goal. My goal is to go with you and dig deep and get you the help that we all need help. We all got some issues going on, underlying issues. So that's kind of my job. I think life is going to have enough issues. I can go to all the therapy in the world, which I do now. I'm going to get married to an amazing guy and still have to go to therapy for something. That's just the way life is,
Mm-hmm.
But why not take the time that I'm single and I have the time and I have the resources to go and fix 90% of the issues that I have before dragging them on to someone else? So that's why the distinction is so important. Because I want you to see the name and then you're like, oh, snap, but it's deeper than that.
Right.
That's
It's deeper than that, as is dating and being single, deeper than that.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. And one of the things I heard you mention earlier about a therapist coming to the group. So would it be, what is that set up like? You have someone come to do a workshop or something like that as far as a therapist or counselor?
Yeah, it's it's kind of like a traditional, it's a happy hour remix. So it's after work or on a Saturday and you're meeting. I make it really intimate. Only 25 people are allowed at each event. So you have to RSV, members first, obviously. So super intimate group. And dude, we're just, it's really inactive. There's therapist or counselor or life coach that's there. You're not just sitting in class taking notes. People bring journals and notes because it's so much information, you want to take it down. But literally, it's just like a private little session. No one's crying and being emotional. It's not like that. But, it's just like a fun, intentional happy hour with 25 new people that are all on your level, all want the same thing out of life. And it makes it easier to be friends with them. Or if you wanted to date them, then you know kind of where they're at. That's a good start,
That's what I was going to say. It's good to kind of see where it's like if you were going to if it weren't this, but some other kind of event where you'd be like, okay, this person is at least interested in what I'm interested in, and opening your mind.
And that's going to the bar and you're like,
yeah,
the bar, you're like, I don't know if he's married, going through divorce.
Exactly.
I don't know if
the bar was open and he's here. Yeah.
Exactly. Like you pay for your ticket, you're dead serious, you're here. Like this is a good start for a friendship, so that's the point.
I see that you have an entrepreneurship membership on your site. So what are the benefits for single entrepreneurs who are part of your group? Because it's set up, we should say, based up on memberships, like monthly fee, right?
Yeah. So the great part is we have such an incredible network. And like I said, when we first started, before this was like an actual company, people were like networking left and right. People have built like successful companies from it. So we're just like, wow, we have a lot of resources. So I just kind of categorize all the resources. If you can imagine my contact list, people text me or email me, I immediately got a job for you or a realtor or something. So if you're an entrepreneur, which is like 80% of single professionals today, this is a great way to be a part of the community, get free advertisement for your brand, and also get the wellness help that you need and connected to obviously the right community.
And what cities are you in so far? I know you're doing more than just where you're located.
Yeah, so I'm based out of Dallas, but we're in Dallas, Austin, Detroit, Los Angeles, and Chicago.
And how do you organize the events in each city? Do you have a local team that you work with, just for anyone who has obviously not an exact kind of company, but who might be interested in doing events in different cities?
You know what? Honestly, I'm looking for some help, but honestly, I do it all. I don't know how to do it, but I plan an event. I've built and building networks in every single city that I'm in right now. And it's old fashioned marketing. You know, you make friends, you invite them out, it's just marketing. It's like planning any other event, but I'm targeting a certain type of person. So it takes a little bit more work and traction. My biggest supporters would be obviously therapy, therapists and counseling centers. So they have people that have things going on that need a like-minded outlet. So here we are,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's like good old-fashioned marketing.
Good old-fashioned marketing. We got to get you some support, Stephanie. You know, we're all about that around here.
Yes, please.
So let me know if you need anything. Actually, their relationship counselor I just interviewed, Conjit Farrell, is in Los Angeles. So maybe I'll connect you with her.
Cool.
Yeah.
Please do. That'd be awesome. And I think we're having a pop-up event in DC in September too. So I'll definitely, we'll be hitting the East Coast just for a pop-up to try some things out. But I'm excited to come over there.
Excellent. So one of the things you mentioned too is that self-awareness is an important part of the single journey. And I know you've had some challenging times as an entrepreneur, which you kind of told us about just even getting into it. You sort of had your own level of resistance, which we all go through in different ways. But can you share with us what are the ways that you feel like entrepreneurship has challenged you to stretch, either personally or as a businesswoman?
Yeah, well, in both ways, I think even just in my faith, it's literally, the biggest walk of faith that I've had yet to take, having everything stripped from me, losing my Lexus, losing my gorgeous apartment, because I didn't have money to pay for it. And I was like going on year 2 of not being able to find a job, living off my savings until it all ran out. And then I was like on friends' couches, literally, and Ubering, like seriously, all of that was literally a test of, and it still is, that's just a part of the Christian life, but just having to seriously trust God when he takes every resource and thing you think that defines you away from you, and you literally look up, like, am I going to be a Christian, or am I going to just say this whole thing that doesn't work because I don't have what I need, so faith has been the biggest part for me. I think, I think you're talking about struggles, right?
Stretching, yeah, the way entrepreneurship challenges. They say entrepreneurship is one of the greatest journeys in personal development. I repeat that often so I can remember that.
Absolutely. It definitely is. Right. I'd say part 2 for me would just be knowing that, people are going to start with you, but they likely won't finish with you. And that's no shade. I'm not burned. Like, people are awful. I work with people. I love them. Like, I always will. But understanding that everyone's not going to get your picture. People will obviously and definitely get jealous and have their own situation going on, which will usually have nothing to do with you. So you've got to just have a strong backbone, know exactly why you're doing what you're doing. If Jesus himself hadn't kept Singles in the City going when I had nothing, this was the only thing in my life it was my dog was being great, and it was my business. My romantic life was in the drain. I had no money, and he would still send people to Singles in the City every single month. And I'm like, I don't even want to do this anymore. But I have people counting on me to do this. So, literally, that's my purpose. That's why I know this is what I need to be doing, because it's literally been the only thing that God has ever really, touched and actually cared about, in my life. So if you don't have that, and then crap hits the fan for you, like, you're absolutely going to crumble. So number one, like, know for sure that you're supposed to be doing whatever business that is. Because most businesses don't even make it a good year. You spend all this money on marketing and business cards and what do you call it? Like a pop-up event. Like, this is my intro, and you haven't even made it a year. Mm-hmm. Like, know for sure that's what you're supposed to be doing. I think that's number one.
Thank you for sharing that. I went through something similar with my business, and I felt like, especially with the podcast, where, like you said, you feel low and you're not making money in your business and you're trying to figure it out. And what are you doing? Or I won't project this. This is what I was going through. But your story resonated with me. But the podcast was the thing that kept me going, knowing that I was showing up and that people were coming and listening. Like with your events, you knew people were coming, and depending on, it just was like, this is a thing that's keeping me going. I felt if I didn't have that during that time, I don't know. But it was like, I got to keep showing up for this. This feels like the calling. Like you said, this felt like the right thing.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I'm like, if you don't have that, just stability in that knowing, like, I'm like, I don't really know what I would do, honestly. Mm-hmm. I'd probably be at Walmart working. So
right. What would you say that entrepreneurship has taught you about yourself as a woman?
Oh, honestly, I think I said it earlier, knowing your worth. And it took me some time, it was, you grow up in a great family. I really did. Very affirming. thought I knew my worth, but obviously the decisions that I was making romantically and in my life just weren't lining up with all these quotes. You know what I'm saying? And that's when I had to be self-aware and realize, okay, you've got some holes that you need to fill. You know what I'm saying? And this is not, it was just a part of the journey. I didn't even know, but I had to be open enough to receive the truth and love and make some changes. And I'm now reaping the benefit of being a better person, making better decisions and knowing my boundaries, knowing my worth honestly, truly, to my core, and making decisions from that.
What would you say, is there one thing that you wish you knew before you opened your business? I mean, I know yours wasn't a conventional journey to entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no one's really is, right? But you sort of was
right.
pushed off the ledge into it. But still, if there was something maybe that you would tell your younger self or 4 years ago self that you wish you knew before you opened your business, what would it be?
You know what? I'm so random. I like, as bad as it was, I love the surprise of not knowing where my life was going.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I had it planned a totally different direction. And now looking back, I'm like, what a beautiful surprise. I had no clue. But I think the biggest kind of downfall for me in the very beginning was not knowing that people that I started with wouldn't be here at the end.
How did you get through, or you mentioned that before, how did you get through that period? Because that's sometimes very difficult for a lot of us, and we might hold on to people who, even if we love them, they might be toxic for our situation or business at the time.
Mm-hmm. That's something I still have to, most of them are, again, this is revolving, people are always going to be here, so they come in and out, but just like, man, just understanding that it's really not even anything, it's kind of like forgiving someone. It's better for you to do it than wait for them to do it. It's the same thing, like, they're just not meant to be for the long haul, and people have their own issues going on. So, just brace yourself.
Brace yourself.
Hold on to no one tightly. Be very friendly and kind. Make sure your heart is pure and clean. Don't have any ill intentions toward anyone, and brace yourself. Let no one be a surprise. Just prepare. Just be prepared.
Right. Be prepared. You avoid disappointment that way, right?
Exactly. Just like, and I don't want you to, I don't want people to live in fear like, oh my God, my mom. No, likely not. But I'm just saying, just don't, you come with get a team of 15, you may have 2 in like 3 years. Mm-hmm. People fall off, things happen, so just don't take offense to people not being with you forever. That's the point of the story.
Where do you hope to take Single in the City? What's your vision for the company?
Vision for the company, and I won't be happy until it is that we're in every major city in the U.S. and of course overseas and abroad. I think wherever there's a single community, which is everywhere, I believe they deserve a wellness community, and I want to be the Starbucks of singles wellness communities. In the world.
I see your vision, Stephanie. The Starbucks of single. Well, I love that. That's good. That is really good. Now, tell us what your support network looks like. You said you're kind of doing everything yourself right now, but either personally or in your business.
No, so my business, I do everything myself right now, but my support network, my mom, my sister is literally, when I tell people this, and you have to meet her for you to understand, my biggest life coach / inspiration. She's 13 years younger than I am, and the girl is a beast.
13 years younger.
Stephanie, 13 years younger, she's 19, and I'm 31. People are like, oh my gosh, you've changed. And, it's over time, obviously. Like, oh my gosh, what's happened? I'm like, if you only knew where I've been hanging out with the baddest 18-year-old on the planet who has snatched my entire life. Okay, she snatched all my edges. She told me about myself in ways no one else could have, and literally because I humbled myself. And it sounds crazy, but I had to humble. We're not the same. She's different in ways that I can't. I'm more social than she. So we balance each other out, obviously. But I had to humble myself to realize God is using her to speak to me, like 99% of the time, and I had to listen. And once I listened and actually began to like put into work the stuff she was telling me, like an 80-year-old woman, like my life changed. So she's like the biggest one, of course. I have an incredible best friend, and my mom, and just a team of just inspirational men, women send me, every now and then, proud of you, keep going, and I love when, number one, I love when African-American men send me text messages about that. It's not nothing romantic, but just encouraging out of the blue text. I'm like, wow, like I see you, sis. Keep going, queen. I see him. I can't make it out this month, but I see, like that means a lot coming from him. You know what I'm saying? So, any other Black guys out there want to send me inspirational text messages? I really do appreciate it. No,
I know that's, no, that's right.
Okay, No, but I think it's a part of the network of us just like supporting each other honestly and truly. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing romantic, but just knowing that we're out here grinding, hustling, and like for someone just to take 2 seconds and just say, "Keep going, sis." That could be a horrible day for me, and I do the same back. You know, so tons of encouragement. My church is awesome. Obviously Jesus is number one, but between my sister and Jesus, I don't really need much more.
What would
Don't
you
need much
say?
more at all.
What would you say is the greatest piece of advice that you can share with us, obviously, that you feel like your sister has given you as it relates to your business or something that you needed to do for your business?
Yeah, the greatest piece so far has definitely been, oh my gosh, there's so much. I'm trying to think, how can I put this? It all had to do with self-awareness and literally realizing that, and it was hard for me to talk about and to admit, I was not practicing what I was preaching. Like I talked about earlier, knowing your worth. Like I was encouraging men and women to do this, and I literally was making decisions the exact opposite because I didn't understand who I was. I didn't understand my worth. I didn't know my identity at all. And this is me at like 28, 29, running a company about self-awareness and just like, I literally did not know what I was doing. I was reading books, giving out information. But now I actually walk the walk, and obviously things make sense. So the biggest piece of anyone in business, and I think this starts within yourself, please like be okay with going to the root and knowing what your flaws are and be willing to fix them. Don't make excuses for it. Literally fix it. If you need a therapist, let them fix it. If you prefer just going to Jesus, he can fix it. If you prefer going to a camp, like let them fix it, you know, but you have to be real with yourself because you can't move forward if you're like living in lies.
Mm-hmm. So in closing, if you think over your life and career and you had the chance to thank only one person whose support was critical to you personally or professionally, who would that be and what would you say?
Literally my sister Lauren. I thank her. Like I tell her all the time, like my life has literally changed since I have developed a close relationship with her, and I have like been honest with her about business and personal. My life has literally changed. She's the wisest person I know, besides my mom.
That's amazing. I'm sure she learns from you too.
No, and she says it. I'm like, no, you really don't. Like, she's literally Oprah, and I'm like Kim Kardashian. Like, you know, we're some total opposites, but she's just maybe a better woman, you know, and that's priceless. I didn't even know I was a hot mess until she told me. I had no clue.
That's amazing, and she was doing that at 18 and 19. That's amazing.
Yeah,
very good.
She's gonna change the world for sure.
She's going to change the world. So now tell us how we can support you. Tell everyone the website. I'm sure people want to know about your events and the membership and other ways to get in touch with you.
Of course. So we're at www.singlesandthecity.com. We're singlesandthecity.com on Instagram, singles, the letter N, the CITI on Twitter, and of course, Singles in the City on Facebook. Membership is online, of course. Event calendars booked out a good month or two online in all the cities. I'll put the tour stuff up for September in DC, but that's it. We're on All Out. There's a YouTube channel. You know, we're on everything, but it's all in the Singles in the City.
And everybody, especially beautiful Black men out there, make sure you send Stephanie a message. Tell her she's doing her thing. Be supportive.
Please. That's great.
Excellent. Stephanie, thank you so much. Now, before you go, what's a parting piece of advice from you to our listeners about anything?
Listeners, parting gift of advice would be honest with yourself. If you're not crying and journaling after you have talked to yourself, you're not being honest. Be honest. It's step one to a brand new, beautiful life. And that's the only way you can get free, just by dealing in truth.
All right. I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Stephanie. To find out more about her, to find out more about Single and the City and when they might be coming to a city near you, go to supportissexypodcast.com. Go to that search icon at the top and just type in Stephanie. Her show notes page will pop up with links, resources, the ways to get in touch with her, and again, ways to find out more about Single and the City. Supportissexypodcast.com and just search Stephanie. Thank you so much for listening. You know I appreciate you. Until we chat again, I want you to always remember that you deserve support. And I'll talk to you soon. Take care.